Okay, let's start the water board meeting for Tuesday, October 13th. I need a motion to accept the minutes for last meeting.
I'll make that.
Second.
Second.
All is in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, passed. A motion to pay the bills.
I'll make it.
Jason, a second. Matt, all is in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, passed. Okay, I need a motion to go to executive session.
I'll make it.
And
Jason.
I'll second that, and that's to go into executive session with our attorney, Lisa Cobb, and our engineer, John Zarowski, for attorney advice.
Okay, pass.
Aye.
So we gotta push that join button now, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'll do that right now then. All right, we're back to regular meeting. I don't know what I was supposed to say. Nothing was finished, finalized.
So you need a motion to resume your regular meeting, come out of executive session with a second and a vote.
And who will make that motion?
I'll
make
make
that
it.
motion. I'll second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 And that's it. Now you're back in your regular meeting. Enjoy, everybody. Have a good
Thank
rest
you.
of the night.
Thanks, Lisa.
Thank you. All right, Matt.
Okay, I think you just take us through the regular agenda now.
Make it quick.
Yeah.
Am I
Just
playing tonight? I gotta get home.
All right, just a quick question for Matt. Do you think with the upcoming stimulus money coming up, do you think we can grab any of that, or is that too far off?
We have gotten so we're already working on a portion of it that's coming through the county, and we're looking at some care funding guidelines now on the federal level, and that's something that we're taking a look at.
Okay.
So, but it has to be COVID related. So I don't know. So
Well, I think there's a lot more money down the pipeline within a couple months. So, all right.
Yeah.
I haven't seen nothing more on Prospect. South Media, the backwater water line, we're not touching it. Did we touch that at all this year? As far as rebuilding, we didn't. Did we ever get? Did we ever get the responses from the owners if they want that line in their backyard or not? Have you heard anything, Matt?
I think we were supposed to have a meeting, weren't we?
Oh no! Here I have
A
some
letter.
updated information. So the guy that lives at the corner wants. He says that he would rather just connect to our water and make everybody else connect to out in the street. So that's the guy that lives on the corner of
Prospect and Mizzier.
South Mizzier. So I think we should have Kenny and John go out there and meet with him to get a better idea, and maybe somebody from the water board to get a better idea of what whether or not he's correct in all his assumptions.
Right.
He's the key guy for the property, right? We have this property to get to.
I'm sorry, what was that, Matt? What is, he thinks what?
He thinks that in his case, he would rather go through his parking area in his shed and connect just out to the street.
Everybody else do the same thing. He doesn't want to.
Okay.
So I think that it would be good for us to go out there and meet with him and make sure that his assumptions are correct. And I wasn't the right person to have that discussion with him.
All right, you'll set the meeting up?
I'll get, yes, I will reach out to him and see if we can.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Matt. Operational, while you're on there, Kenny, is there anything going on that we need to talk about?
Yes, there's actually, quite a bit. So we're currently, going through our flushing program.
Mhm.
So you may or may not get, quite a few complaints about dirty water. If that's the case, we're flushing right now. So, the second thing is about, those data loggers for Northeast Water Technology.
Mhm.
George sent his final proposals
Yes.
most recently, and I'm hoping that everybody took a look at it and figured out what they want to do with that. He's been pretty patient. He's been working with us, changing his numbers all around, but this is the final offer from him. So it's either do it or we're gonna have to put it off. It's up to the board.
Well, with the new tank going on and the rise in pressure we're gonna have, we have to do it. It's as simple as that now. So if that goes through, we will be back to within a month.
Yeah, I still, and I spoke to John about this, but I still don't see the reasoning for elevating the storage tank. I don't know what that gains us other than trouble. We have a lot of old mains in this village, and I don't know if that's the right thing to do.
But we'll go ahead and put leak detectors on. If there is a problem because of it, we'll know right away. That's the
Yeah.
best I could do.
Yes, so maybe we can just like draw something up just to make sure that George knows what our intention is. And at that point, we could have the meeting with him to determine the best locations to place these loggers. And we can, we have to start cleaning them because part of his most recent proposal was to save the village money. We would clean the valve boxes ourselves after it's determined the best location to place the loggers.
I thought that was the list he gave me was the where they all wanted to go.
No.
Okay, what's that list? Just thought about?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what list you're referring to, and I don't have it in front of me.
Oh,
But
you don't have that list.
yeah,
Okay.
all that information is from another system so that you could see what
Okay.
it actually looked like.
All right. Matt, are you there?
Yep.
Did we have enough money in our budget to do that if this tank goes through? We
So
don't need
how much is the total?
total it was spread out over 4 years. I think it was 75 over 4 years. Let me check. 74 over 4-year cost. Installation was 5,200 and loggers were 62,400. But it's divided up between surveys. I can't unwrap it to see what it's an installation cost of 5,200. So I didn't see that as too outrageous. But I'd like to see it on before that tank is running. So
Well, I think we have one more. I think we could go to one more meeting before the tank's running, definitely, right?
oh
John?
yes.
Yeah, so let's take a good look at it instead of me just thinking about it like this.
Yeah, you follow our fears. The tank's going to pressurize system to get the fire flows up, and the old lines might fail in surface spots. This will let us know almost immediately within a couple weeks.
Okay.
Okay, Kenny, anything else?
No, just, keep in mind that that's only 50% of the system or approximately. So we still would have to survey the rest of the system.
Well, hopefully within a year or two, we'll be able to finish off the system after that. Once
Yeah,
we see it works well.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that everyone is aware you know, that those current pricing only is 50%. Yeah. So also, does anyone know where we're at in regards to sending out the letter to Berkeley Square? The last time, I believe, we were in an O&M meeting and we were trying to determine who was supposed to do that. I believe it was Brian. And I wanted to know if anybody actually knows if that got done.
I'm texting him now.
Okay.
Why, they still got that problem over there, Kenny?
They don't currently have the problem, but it's just been a problem that needs to be corrected. And we've been, you know, trying for quite a long period of time to avoid those difficulties in simulating a leak, and then we go looking all over the place and we find out that their tank is overflowing. So if we set up some kind of indicator, you know, that their tank is overflowing or low for that matter, you know, we'll know immediately. It'll send out a signal, and this way it won't simulate that leak.
Can they do some sort of float or something? Like if it's overflowing, a
Yeah.
light on their
Yeah,
tank?
yeah. So, you know, you would have a low level indicator, a high level indicator. Honestly, the easiest way to do it is to cut the overflow pipe and let it go on the ground. That way you'll know immediately.
Yeah,
So, you know, there's a drain right there. So it's not like it's not going to a drain and the people would notify you immediately. That's the cheapest, easiest way out. But I mean, it's still something has to be done.
That's what we do.
So I'd like to see that get done. Now, most recently, we did an investigation on a low pressure complaint at the Center for Physical Therapy, which is Chris Campili's building on the corner of Main Street and Delaverne Avenue. Upon investigation of the situation, it was determined that Sigma Tremblay building, which is the building next to Chris's on Delaverne Avenue, is hooked into the same line that Chris is. So I spoke to Mr. Tremblay. I told him the best course of action to disconnect himself from Campili's building and to go out onto Delaverne Avenue and to hook into his own curb stop, which is already existing. So I spoke with the building inspector, Brian, about that as well. He was supposed to send him a letter, but I see no action taking place at this time. And I wanted to get the board's feeling on where we should proceed from here.
So they want to separate the line, or they're not sure they want to separate it?
Well, for everybody's best interest in your codes, it does say that everyone has to have a separate line.
Right.
But in everybody's best interest, it should take place anyway.
Right.
You know, Campili should not have the ability to shut Tremblay off, which is how I actually found out. I followed the line and there was a valve there. I shut it off. And then Tremblay called Campili and told them that the water was off. And I prepped Chris. I said, Chris, if Tremblay calls you to tell you the water's off, you're still connected. So that was exactly the case. And, you know, Chris has a lot of water use over there. You know, he has basically hot tubs in there. He's got a swimming pool and he's filling these things. And, you know, it's using a lot of water. And between that and the use at Tremblay was probably the reason why he was complaining about low pressure. And it's also bypassing, there's a couple taps that are bypassing any meters. And, you know, I don't know exactly what Tremblay's doing inside, but he doesn't have a backflow preventer. I know that. So
does Tremblay have a meter and it's just not been showing any usage? Has Chris been paying?
Tremblay has a meter, but the meter is located within his building. And the taps that go to his line, there's two connections prior to his line that actually Campili is taking advantage of prior to going over to Tremblay's building.
Okay. Interesting.
And you know, he is aware of it. You know, Mr. Campili, it's just more or less Tremblay's you know, issue to dismantle the existing pipe and go out to Delaverne Avenue and have his own separate line for everybody's best interest.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's unmetered water that's not being accounted for.
Right.
One of them is going to an ice machine, and the other one is going to a spigot outside of Campili's building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And this was missed when they subdivided the land way back when,
Yeah, I mean, at one time, those two buildings were together.
right?
So, you know, I guess at that point, he did not have a tap prior to us redoing the water main on Delaverne Avenue. And Jay Podgy specifically left one there for him to come and get it. And he changed the sewer line, but never changed the water line.
Okay,
So, you know, it's about that time. It's just, again, I did speak to Brian about it. But the last time I spoke to him, he had not sent out any letters at that time. When Tremblay asked me what he should do, I told him the course of action, that he should speak to Brian. I told him exactly where to go. I showed him his curb stop. And, you know, I said, you need to come out here. And then I told him you would need to disconnect the existing line, not only outside prior to going into his building, but inside of Campili's building. That T prior to either one of the meters has to be physically removed altogether. You can't have a T prior to a meter.
right.
So I just don't know where else to go with it.
I don't either, really. You can't force them to tie into the main, can you?
Of course, you know, it's in your code book that each individual house is supposed to have their own separate curb stop. That's the whole purpose of when we're doing these new mains on these two-family homes, to leave another line so that if there was any issues, that individual could come out and get their own separate line in those two-family homes. Same principle.
Which he's gonna have to now.
And they're you know, they're using unaccounted for water. It's unmetered water. You know, and you have codes for that as well. And you know, it's really on Brian.
Is
And,
Brian the venue for something like that, not the water department specifically?
I'm sorry.
Is Brian the venue for that as the code enforcement officer for the codes of conduct for the water?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I personally or anybody from this department does not have the ability to, basically find somebody
Okay,
or, put them on notice that there's been a violation. We've always turned to Brian for that, and he is aware of it. I spoke to him several times. I told him I was gonna address it to the water board. It's not like I'm, going behind anybody's back. He's well aware of it. I've made, the communication with him on several occasions. Just wanted to make the board aware of it.
yeah. No, being new, I mean, I agree. I think if there's a rules and regulations or the codes or whatever, a simple non-offensive letter that says it's come to our attention, your connection is in violation of our codes, and give them a reasonable time to remediate. And after that time frame, you either set up a penalty period or you work with them on a time extension, but they've been legally notified that the connection needs to be rectified. And if Brian wants something more cohesive, then maybe something comes in writing from the water commissioners or from Kenny asking for this to be done.
So you want, Kenny, a letter from the water board?
Yeah, I mean, that would certainly be helpful to go to both locations. The Campiles are very well aware, as well as the Trembleys, so it's not going to come as a surprise to them. We just, need someone with a little bit of authority, to, put them on notice basically and give them a little bit of warning and, a very brief description. And I'd be happy to, whatever, if you guys want to draw that up, I'll be happy to discuss it with you to make sure we're, writing the appropriate things. And, whatever, have Patrick sign it or the board or however you
Right.
would like to do that. And at least.
You guys want me to put something together on that? And cite the code?
Right.
Yes, John, would you do that?
I'll do that for you.
Thank you. And let me know and I'll sign it.
Excellent. So you'll be, I'll write it with your signature going on it and you put it on village.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Kenny, can you get me the addresses so I can,
Sure. No
Thank you.
problem.
yeah, send me the all the facts that I need to write the letter for the addresses and
Yeah.
and I'll pull the code. And cite the code for you. All right?
Yeah, sure.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we also have an issue that I had addressed with Ryan from KC Engineering at 2692 West Main Street, which is right next to this old shoemaker building where the park was just done. If you're facing it, the building to the right has a lead water service line that has a hole on the interior of the building, basically touching the wall as it comes through the wall. And the old owners were aware that that was an issue, and it did not become a problem until Contech is doing the sidewalk. So then there was a new owner that took over and wanted the water on. We had the water off from outside because it was vacant. And we were aware that there was a hole on the lead line, and the new owner called to have the water turned on, which we don't have a problem doing, but he wasn't aware that there was a hole in the water line. So I addressed it with him, but there were some legal issues that he was going through in regards to him purchasing the home with the belief that it was a two-family home and a commercial location. but in reality, it's not. So he purchased the property under that condition. And he was going through his attorney to address a few things, but in the meantime, Contech is ready to pour that sidewalk on at the latest this Thursday. So Ryan from KC Engineer is aware of it. I have been communicating with him about the situation and just wanted to make sure the board was aware of that. Now, our side is copper, the curb stop works. It's completely and fully the responsibility of the homeowner. I would just hate to see the sidewalk poured and then the homeowner decides, hey, maybe I better change the line and not, you know, make a hole in my wall to repair an already lead service line.
Do you do that repair, Kenny, or does he hire somebody?
No, he would do it, you know, on his own, with his whatever plumbers. Or if he has people that are handy, you know, by all means, we're always here to help people. And we would be able to, you know, coach him through that. And, you know, that's not an issue. I did, you know, speak directly with the existing homeowner on what the options are and, you know, made sure that he was aware that this needs to be addressed immediately, and have not heard back from him at this time. So, you know, we certainly can't hold Contech up, but that's what the intent is at this time, was to pour it on Thursday unless things have changed. That was the last time I spoke with Ryan from KC Engineering. So just thought I'd bring that to your attention as well.
Well, he doesn't own the building then.
Well, he does own the building, but he purchased it with the understanding that it was different than what it actually is. I don't know all those details or a reason why he might be able to back out of the deal now. I'm just attempting to address the situation so that, you know, the sidewalk doesn't have to be dug up again if and when whoever the owner is decides to change the line, or would you like to repair the line from the interior of the home by breaking out the foundation and, you know, having the ability to get, you know, a couple wrenches in there to, you know, tighten up the fitting.
Yeah, because we do have the ability to fix it ourselves if they wanted us and tack it onto their water bill for 2 years. We did that a long time ago to fix any lead line that somebody couldn't afford to, but if he doesn't own it or if he's backing out, it makes it very difficult.
Yeah, Pat, I do not know. I gave him our phone numbers. I told him to please, you know, keep us in the loop, but had not heard from him again. You know, I think it's pretty much up to them at this point.
Yeah, there's not enough time.
We have, just to add, we have had a similar situation further up West Main Street, right across from Convent. And that new homeowner actually ended up busting out their own foundation and fixing the leak. So we're very fortunate that that happened, but this is a brand new sidewalk and it's a lead line. So I would hate to see.
So then why don't we just do it and tack it onto the water bill over 2 years?
I don't know if you can do that. What if the person says, I'm not paying for that, I didn't authorize that, you know, now
Right.
you're kind of stuck.
Do your water bills go with the property when the property gets sold, or do they stay with the owner?
That I don't know. Matt, do you know that? Because I don't know that.
Well, I mean, we have the ability to reassess unpaid water bills onto the taxes. So I would imagine it goes with the property.
So theoretically, it goes with the property, so it would become liability or asset, depending on how you wanted to look at of the property, even if it changed hands again.
Yeah, I'll have to check with Lisa to whether or not we can get away with that, though.
The fact that it's a leaking water line, it should be repaired regardless. If that means you're repairing it because under the
Oh,
of leaking water line before the sidewalk goes in,
Right.
for the pretense, but under the
Just
authorization
keep
of
in
the
mind,
water line. If you turn the service on for the building at any point, it's going to be leaking and you have a leak in your system that needs to be repaired. So I would think regardless of the owner, it should get replaced.
well, I put a screw in the hole, so it's not leaking anymore.
It's still a lead service though. I mean,
A little bit of
if we had been doing water lines, we would have been replacing lead services, so.
Yes,
Yes.
understand. Just, be aware that if that was the case, you still need access to the home, we're
We have to have
talking
their
about,
permission.
using a Hilti, to make a hole in somebody's foundation wall, in this type of situation where you still need to gain access and, get permissions and,
Yes.
these type of things. So, it's not, quite as easy as, oh, okay, let's just do it. There's a lot involved, in regards to permissions and,
The-
approvals.
Right. The bottom line is he didn't
It's
give us,
it's on a state highway. So, do you need, to get the state permits in a case like that? Or can we get away with, oh, it's leaking, it's an emergency, therefore you don't need the permit? Or, you're getting into a lot of different things here that,
Is the curb stop outside of the right of way or is it inside?
well, it's right next to the curb, so I don't know, exactly.
Yeah, so no, you're in.
It's
The
pretty
curb is
close
there,
to the
right.
road. Because then another thing is you also have to keep in mind is you have gas in the trench, you have AT&T in the trench. So it's, it's not an easy day. You're probably better off with a back truck if possible to avoid, any issues with the other utilities.
but this is mute because the homeowner did not get us permission to do this. We can't go in the house. So and it's such a short amount of time. There's not much we can do.
It has to be done tomorrow.
Yeah. And like I said, I have no issue us getting a sub for him and then charge him on the water, but we had to know earlier.
Yes.
And he has to tell us it's okay.
Yep.
Because we don't want no lead in our system. We want all the lead gone. But we can't touch homeowner's property.
Right. So anyway, as long as everyone's aware of it, and
And we can do.
we'll just have to see how it proceeds forward.
How close is a hole in lead service to the outside wall?
It's right, pretty much almost touching the inside wall.
So all the plumber's gonna
So
do is,
I really don't know the thickness of the foundation.
I do,
Most likely, it might be a
2 foot.
foot stone.
Yeah, 2 foot, I'm gonna say.
And so, it's, a little bit difficult, but just a lot of variables, time frames, and so forth, it makes it just difficult.
Yeah, he's just gonna chisel out the wall. He's gonna cut as best he can. He's gonna put a coupling in or lead wipe and be done with it. But I would rather have changed the
Now-
lead line to get more time.
One thing that I'd like to make a suggestion of is that maybe John can put something forward. Like when we did some previous project work prior to a sidewalk being done, we notified the homeowners that, we're going through with this project. And if you want to change any of those water lines, now's the time to do it. So like when we did the project as an example on Market Street, you know, we notified the homeowners that, you know, you have this type of line. If you want to change it, please do it now before we put the sidewalks in.
Right.
So going forward, if we do any further sidewalk projects, you know, it may not be a bad idea to address the homeowners immediately. This way we don't, you know, run into this time frame issue. And, you know, the people have time to kind of look into it, ask questions, and determine if it's something that they want to do.
Okay, that, you want more communication going forward, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think it would be helpful for every, you know, all the way around for both the homeowner and the village. You know, we don't want to be pouring new sidewalks and then have them, you know, taken out over a short period of time. It's in everyone's best interest if we, you know, did that as a regular on the projects.
Okay. Do you have any major concerns going forward with winter just about to set in?
I don't believe so at this time. I think we're in pretty fair shape. Just keep an eye on the salt tank, make sure that's always filled, because previously when we've had issues getting deliveries when we need them, you know, we don't have enough salt in there. It creates, you know, that freezing environment, and that's a problem, but that's kind of sort of out of our control, other than monitoring it and making sure we order, you know, as early as we possibly can. But other than that, I think we're, you know, in pretty good shape. You know, just making sure that to the best of our ability that the hydrants are draining, and when they don't, you know, make sure we pump them out, that type of thing, or do a rebuild, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty much it.
Okay.
You know, may not be a bad idea, you know, to at some point when the bills go out to address it. I'm not sure if it's already on the bill, but at some point we're going to be coming into the winter months here. And I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to place it actually on a bill where the homeowner could read it and, you know, hopefully heed a recommendation of, you know, making sure the windows are closed up, making sure their outside spigots are shut off, and, you know, keep that cold air from getting near the service lines and freezing. You know, it always happens, but if we can give people warnings, you know, and prevent one of them, I think it's a worthwhile venture.
Okay. Water usage was typical. A little bit high, just a little.
Yeah, it was at 499. Last September was at 486.
Yeah.
But you have to remember, people are still home. We're down from the previous month, which is a good sign. We're seeing the tanks attempt to start to build a little bit, you know, quicker, which is good. So, you know, it's a good thing that way. So, you know, we'll just have to keep an eye on it. And, you know, next month's going to be kind of high. You know, we flushed quite a bit today. We actually got the first ward done. So, you know, you're going to see quite a bit of, you know, extra water usage from us, you know, flushing the system.
Right.
So, you know, we have to definitely keep that in mind for next month when we go over the numbers, that, you know, they could be elevated for that reason.
And how dirty is the water you're flushing?
Some areas are extremely dirty and other areas aren't too bad. So it's, you know, both ways, really.
Has it been consistent over the past 2 years?
Yeah, John just mentioned that he thinks it's less. Yeah, it seems to be a little bit cleaner right now, I would say, but, you're still having some dirty water. Probably still mixing with the manganese precipitating out. And until you flush it at a certain, feet per second and move that water, it's never going to come out. So now's the time to get, that material out to the best of our ability.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Sure.
Matt, do we have any new business?
I don't think so, no.
John, do we have any new business I've missed?
We did get a water service request for 2043 South Main Street. But quite frankly, it's for fire service, but they're gonna need to go to the health department for that. That's not something we review because they're gonna need an RPZ on that for protection of the water system. But that needs to go to the health department. Unfortunately, I have to tell you guys, Contact's pouring the sidewalk tomorrow. So we did ask them to hold off, but I just checked with Ryan. That's who I was calling on the phone, on the meeting there. He said they're pouring concrete tomorrow. Contract 5, interconnect. The drawings should be, I want to get them in front of Kenny, hopefully later this week or early next week, just to go over it with him. And then we'll be going to the health department very soon for the interconnect. That's the contract 5 is the interconnect with the town of Wappingers. With the PRV valve, the pressure reducing valve involved, and the connection down Losi Road. We'll move forward with that really soon. And I did get a call from Dan at the health department. He was asking about the fact, you've seen the letter and I guess the email came in, that he's concerned about the fact that we're kind of only running on the one well. We can only run one of the 7s at a time. So he wanted to know how we're going to deal with that. We really technically only have one water supply, although we can always switch to the other well. We don't technically have a backup. And the interconnect project actually solves that problem. So I started talking to Dan about that and telling him that he's also going to be receiving this very soon. So he seemed to be very happy about that as well. He wants to have an inspection and then sit down and talk about our plan for dealing with the one well issue. So I'll work with that. I don't know, what days do you have available, Ken, to meet with him?
I told him that the 3 dates that he gave to us, we'll make ourselves available.
Yeah.
So, whatever works with yourself and Matt, if he was going to join us, and anybody else for that matter, whatever date and time works, we'll make our adjustments based on your schedule.
Okay. Now, tomorrow and Thursday, the mornings are kind of shot for me, so.
Now, he did,
Wide open.
Matt has the letter that gave the 3 dates, and I don't have it here with me, but I believe it was the 21st, 2nd, or 3rd, I believe it was.
Okay, yeah, I can probably bring that up, but, so yeah, next week I'm fine, and I'll make myself available for that.
All right, so yeah, just maybe work with Matt or whatever, and then, someone get back to him from the health department, Dan, and, we'll put in a time frame and a date. So
it is, I'm looking at the letter, it's the 21st, 22nd, or 23rd. Okay.
And let me just look. Yeah, right now I'm wide open, so which day is preferred?
That's a good week for me too, so I can. You want to do the 21st in the, I prefer noon or later,
Okay.
11 or 11:30 or later.
We'll say just afternoon.
Okay. So I'll tell him, I'm gonna respond to him and say we want to do afternoon of 20.
That works. That works.
21st, Matt, I'm sorry,
22nd.
22nd.
You said the 21st initially.
It's the
I wrote
it's Thursday, excuse me, it's the 21st. I'm sorry, it is.
Yeah,
So-
so now I can circle out 22 and put 21 back. Thank you.
So I'm gonna say John Zarowski and our water operators will be able to meet with you on Wednesday. Afternoon. And I'll copy you guys on this.
All right, and then, just let us know when you actually schedule an actual time, and then we'll put it in the calendar.
What's your email, John Kozak?
Watt Falls Water, WAPPFALLS, WATER@gmail.com.
Okay.
So are you available later this week, Ken? So I can come over and sit down with you?
Yep,
I'll call you later and set something up. I'll call you tomorrow.
that's fine, that's fine. We can move stuff around, not a
Okay.
problem.
Excellent. All right. They're making a couple of changes for me on the plans. I just want to get that cleaned up and then I'll come over.
Sure. John, one thing I wanted to mention to you is, this, fire line that Val wants to put in.
Yeah.
If you see any further details, I just want to make sure that we get certain materials in regards to the tapping saddle, it being stainless. I want a flange outgoing end. I want a flange by mechanical joint valve. So, those type of things, I want to make sure that they get addressed to him, and that there's not a situation, that we didn't discuss that with him prior to him getting his approvals and then starting the work. And can I also assume that we're gonna own that wet tap? How is that gonna work?
And normally you would own the wet tap up to his curb stop.
Yeah, so in this case, there's really not a curb stop. Does that
No, it won't be a curb
own the, you know what I mean, up to the valve, or, up to the property line, or how do we address that?
How have you done it in the past, Ken? I mean,
Well,
do you have an indicator valve or
in
something? Because as a
past,
food service, it can't be turned off unless the water service gets turned off. That's NFPA code.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, John? I'm sorry.
Okay, NFPA code says that if there isn't some kind of indicator valve, that the water service has to be turned off to the building the same time as the fire tap does. So it has to be like when you turn the valve, it also shuts the water off to the building so that they know there's no fire service in the building.
I think not understanding quite what you're saying. Are you saying that the water service and a domestic service have to be two separate lines?
No, they have to be the same valve. So when you turn off the when you turn off the valve that feeds the fire service, the domestic for the water in the building is also off.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me, honestly.
That or there has to be an indicator valve outside that shows that that valve is closed, because the fire department pulls up, expects to hook up to a Siamese or something, and it's just shut down, or the fire sprinkler isn't working.
under this condition, a post indicator valve is not,
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think it fits.
yeah, the right location for that, because it's gonna
Right.
be in the sidewalk. So, that part is gonna be impossible. My main concern is that, previously, the Odyssey Diner, which put their own water service in, including the tap, and the pipe itself, and then there was a hole that was, in the stainless tapping saddle, and the village ended up having to fix that. So we went in and we repaired it, and that's why I'm requesting certain types of materials, so that if we had to do it again, we're gonna have the best case situation
Word.
as a scenario in which to be able to fix it.
Right, and you can ask for standard materials that the village uses for water.
Yeah, okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So.
And in fact, we should make a list if you don't have one already, Ken.
I'm sorry?
We should make a list, so if you don't already have one, so that going forward, we can just distribute it to somebody coming in, asking
Right,
for water service like that. We should have a list of, well, you gotta use those parts.
right, yes.
If we don't have one, we should put one together.
Yep, understand. So anyway, moving forward, that's, why I want that at least addressed somehow, so that when the board gives him permission to tap the main, that it's gonna be part of that condition is to supply us with the materials, or somehow discuss with him what materials we're interested in using.
Yeah, and I've done that in many other municipalities where you give them a list of the required materials in
Sure,
the water system.
yep.
So like if you have a particular valve you want, like if you use a particular brand of valve,
Yeah, we could go with Mueller or Plow. We use both of them, and I'd be happy with the tapping saddle being Mueller or Plow, but under no condition are we using now I can't think of the name.
well, I mean, we can tell them what they're only allowed to use.
Right, yes, got it.
What about the what nots to do,
Oh, Romac,
like what
definitely
you
no
need to use to
Romac.
connect to our system.
No Romac tapping saddles.
Okay. All right, well, we can sit down next week and put that
Yeah,
together,
that's fine, yep,
or later this week, we'll put a list together,
yes.
get it to them, and then we can just, in the future, whenever somebody asks for a connection, we can say, here's the parts you're using.
Yes, that's fine.
All right, Kenny, do you have anything else?
You sure you want me to keep going?
No. John, do you have anything else?
No, I'm done, I'm done. I'm exhausted.
Kozak, do you have anything?
Believe it or not, that's all I had.
I just have one.
John
What's that?
Kozak has something.
Uh, In the upcoming month, well, Aaron's Associates, who is the IT for our SCADA system that runs our plant, they would like to be able to sign in instead of via phone line to our SCADA computer. They would like to do it via internet, which I'm not really fond of, but it is what it is. Either way, they gave us a proposal. I dissected the proposal in my own mind and basically came up with a different idea. And I spoke with Craig Roberts, our normal IT guy for the village, and he concurred with me on a few ideas on how to save money and make this possible and keep it secure. So we plan on doing that. And while he was at it, he was going over at Village Hall about a month ago, maybe 2 months ago. He was recycling some of the desktop computers at Village Hall. And I had asked him specifically to hold on to Marie's computer because of the Windows version that she has on her computer. And so he held on to it. And then now I would like to use that old computer, beef it up a little bit, and use that computer to mirror everything that our SCADA computer does at the plant. God forbid that computer ever goes down, the actual desktop computer decides to go kaput, we have one that's mirrored and doing
Oh, okay.
the same thing next to it. So the reason why I'm telling you is because I have Craig shopping right now. He's gonna give me a list. I'm gonna go on Amazon and see what I can do to save money, this, that, and the other thing, but it's still gonna be a couple $100. So I just wanted to fire that warning off to you guys that there will be a couple $100, probably in the $500 to $700 range, as far as IT stuff that I wanted to fire off to you guys and give you the warning. That's it. So we get a backup for our SCADA system, as well as Aaron's associates can log in via Ethernet, or internet, I should say. And, I can disconnect them at any time. So this way we're not sitting, our SCADA program is not sitting online, which is one of my big fears. So just wanted to give you guys a warning that I will be spending a couple $100 within the next 2 weeks. That's it.
Okay, that's fine. Good job. Matt, do you have anything else going on?
No, I don't.
Okay. John, anything else? I think that's it.
We gotta schedule the meetings.
Yes.
So the next water board meeting would be on the 9th of November. At 4 o'clock, which then we would have the O&M would be either on Tuesday the 3rd or Thursday the 5th.
Why don't we do Thursday?
The 5th,
Yeah,
2:30.
that sounds good for me.
Okay. Excellent. And that's everything.
Moving forward, are we gonna be meeting in person at any time soon?
I don't, here's my thought is that if the meeting would still have to be available by Zoom. So I think, I think that it's just as well to keep meeting on Zoom. That's my own personal feeling. How, do you guys, is there a, other thoughts on that?
I don't have any problem going to the water department with them now. I'll just wear a mask, no big deal. It's just like work for me. But if you want to continue this through the remainder of the year, we can. Otherwise, I can go to the water department itself. If you want to stay at the hall, that's fine. What does the law say? That's what I don't understand.
Well, if we, it's okay for us to meet in person, but we still have to make it available by Zoom anyway.
Okay.
So it's a Zoom meeting anyway. It's just that we would be choosing to meet in person.
Okay. So it's optional then.
It's optional. The part about how we meet is optional. The part about allowing public access is not. That
Okay.
requires Zoom access.
Okay. Do
Just
you
so
want to
you guys know, speaking of exactly that, I literally just got our Wi-Fi going today at the plant and got us a webcam, which is what we're using right now, which is why we're not in the operator room, we're in the office now. So if that was the option, it is possible.
You guys are ready for that then?
I mean, I could easily take this camera and put it in the corner of the ceiling and have everybody here, and if somebody wants to go, you know, or chime in, they don't want to be here. So, I think we're capable of doing it. As long as you have a host that sets it all up for us, as we normally do. We have the capability, we have the hardware, we just have somebody to set it up. The actual meeting.
Okay, well, think about it, Matt. Tell me what you want to do. I don't want to
Okay.
impose on anybody because I know I'm different than everyone else. But I'm also surrounded by 100 people every day too, so. Okay, I didn't ask, Jason, do you have anything to add?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Did I miss anybody? Does anybody else have anything to add?
No, I'm good.
Hey, Jason, it's Ken. Before we get too far here, don't forget, I'd still like to get that bee's nest off of the ladder at Wendell's one of these days, while it's still fairly warm.
Yeah, I'll try to get there, next Monday.
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm gonna need the ladder
Whatever.
truck to
Just-
do
just
it.
keep it in mind, that's all. Worst comes to worst, we check the tank in the morning, I'll leave the gate open and you can go there, you guys, when you wanna go there.
Yeah, I'll get Mikey, because I'm gonna need 2 guys.
All right,
So, and you said that's like 60 feet up, right?
that's about 60 feet up there, yep.
All right.
Maybe even, take a ride by, first, just so you know kind of like what you're looking at or whatever, and, decide what you want to do, whatever works for you.
All right.
Thanks.
No problem.
Okay, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make it.
Second,
We seconded it.
okay, all is in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Aye.
thank you, guys. Just let me know, Matt, if you want to do anything different with the next
Okay.
meeting,
All right, we
Okay.
can talk about
whatever you
it.
feel comfortable.
Bye, guys.
All right.